Title and what your job entails here.
My name is Loki Daka. I'm the assistant director in charge of workflow programs. My responsibility is to make sure that the office undertake the audit of all government institutions, particularly provincial administration, which is our main client, Ministry of Health, Education, across the province. So our main responsibility is simply to conduct an audit and produce the report in line with the mandate of the Office of the Auditor.
What are some of the major issues that you find during your audits?
I'll give a scenario. Provincial administration being our main client, you will note that payroll audit is the main activity that is funded. Previously, we used to have good funding in respect of the general administration, but of late, the concentration mostly is focused on payroll, because payroll, that is an area where the government is funding, because it involves the payment of salaries for all the employees. So you record that when you look at the yellow book, a big amount goes towards payment of personal emolument. And under this is where now we find that there are so many issues that come as a result of payment of payroll. There are so many queries that come as a result of issues that come in line with the same. I'll give a scenario. Irregular payment of rural hardships. Those are personal emolument related allowances. Irregular payment remote and rural hardship allowance. Payment of remote instead of rural hardship allowance. Payment of housing allowance. There are certain irregularities that are highlighted. So you note that in certain situations, instead of paying rural hardship allowance, they pay hardship allowance or remote hardship allowance. Then the government will lose a certain amount of money. So when we go in as an office, we tend sort of to bring out those issues, so that at the end of it, we bring out the recommendation regarding those issues that have been highlighted. And after we make a recommendation in the interim management letter, we give those reports to the controlling officer for them to take action. And when you look at the three ministries that we have undertaken the audit, that is provincial administration, health, as well as education, we made quite a number of recommendations. And because of that recommendation, the office, after we go into the verification, we find that most of the issues have taken action and the government has made recoveries. I'll give a scenario. Under provincial administration, regular payment of rural hardship allowance for the 3 years, 2020, 2019, and 2018, the amount that we queried was 5,075,221. Then under Ministry of Health, it was 1.3 million. Total recoveries for the three institutions in 2018 was 2.1 million. Then it goes to payment of rural instead of remote, instead of rural hardship allowance. The queried amount for Ministry of Health was 15,000, and the whole amount after we made the recommendation was recovered. Same applies to irregular payment of committed night duty allowance. The amount that we queried in total was 259,746. And after we made those recommendations, the whole amount was recovered. So the list goes on. And ultimately, what we did when we did the summation, we discovered that from the amount that we queried, so far for the 3 years, and in respect for the fifth three institutions, the major three institutions, 8 million has been recovered because of the recommendation by the Office of the
Okay. Has been the response from maybe various stakeholders insofar as your operations here have been?
I would say the response is good of late. What has attributed is that because the office now has gone to an extent that we are able to behave, and like what was happening previously, because the office were operating more like an isolation entity. But with the coming of certain department like public relations unit, I think we are being heard. A good example is the interviews that were being conducted. So people do appreciate the role of the Office of the Auditor General. And of course, because of our regular appearance at Public Accounts Committee, and people now are so conversant with the role of the Office of
The recoveries can be cited as among the major positive impacts that the office here has recorded. What are some of the issues that you can point at as having positives being scored?
From the audit that we have conducted, I'll give a good scenario on project, because that's what our focus is on. If you recall that for the past 3 years that we are looking at, the Ministry of Health in particular, and the Ministry of Education, they have embarked on quite a number of construction of infrastructure, health posts, as well as schools. Because of the nature of our work, we tend sort of to bring out these issues. And what we have realized that for the past 3 years, more activities are focused on infrastructure. And those controlling officers who have been cited in the Auditor General's report, they've responded. And you find that at the end of it all, most of the schools that were not constructed at that particular period, the ministry will tend sort of to source for funds and then complete those projects. Same applies to the health force. I'll give a scenario for Wapula province. I think there are quite a number of health forces that have been constructed. But you find that even if they construct some of these health forces, we discovered some were not operational. But because of our persistent queries that we have been bringing out, the ministry have gone flat out to make sure that they engage other stakeholders, and then all those health forces are manned, and now they are operational. So I feel that is a positive impact that the office has.
Thank you so much. Good. Yeah. I love the